could it be? Me, your man, Louie T. Welcome to Divisional Round Weekend here on the Louie T Network as we continue to cover the National Football League postseason here on the Louie T Network. What a fantastic football game. Chiefs, Browns, AFC Championship on the line, or a trip to the AFC Championship on the line. Buffalo was awaiting the winner of this game. And if the Browns won, off to Buffalo they go. Bills will host a home playoff game, AFC Championship playoff game, I should say, for the first time since the early 90s. Meanwhile, if the Chiefs won, the Bills would have to pack their things and make the trek to Arrowhead. And when this thing started off, it looked like it was going to be a Chiefs rout. Browns had no answers for Mahomes and company. Then Mahomes suffers that toe injury. He's kind of hobbled and limited. Even with the toe injury, though, you're just like, they still can't stop this offense. Mahomes still running and doing things off schedule. And with the pick at the end, really the fumble before halftime made you think, well, that was their shot. They just blew it. And Mahomes is not only going to, add insult to injury here. You fumble, now they're going to go get points on top of it. And they did. They got the field goal to end the first half. And then they get the pick to start the second half, and you're thinking, oh, this is over. They're going to score a touchdown here. They're going to go up 26-3, and this thing's done. Not only do they not get the touchdown, but also they missed the field goal. And so you're like, oh, okay, well, maybe this isn't over. And the Browns then go on a marathon drive. And this thing gets really interesting. And I questioned Andy Reid. I thought it was one of the stupidest things I've seen Andy Reid do. And I've seen Andy Reid do some pretty questionable things throughout his career. But running Mahomes on a third down with Mahomes already being hobbled, you're going to run a option play with him? Are you serious right now? That's the move on 3rd and 1? Really 3rd and inches. That's the move? But in typical Andy Reid fashion, you want to kill him, but he's so lovable. And, I wanted to strangle him in that moment. I'm like, Andy, you dummy. And then at the end, I said, just when I didn't think you could be any dumber, you go do something like this and totally redeem yourself. That 4th and 1 call was brilliant. To first off, load the Browns to sleep. They put those boys to sleep on one of those Dak Prescott mattresses, okay? Put them right to sleep. Henny's in the gun. They're not snapping the ball from the gun. Are you crazy? So you're thinking he's going to run up under center with about 7 seconds left and bark out a couple of, fake cadences and try to get him to jump before they ice a timeout with 1 second left on the play clock. And he's just standing back there like, hey, you guys chill out. Don't worry about it. We're good. And the emotions in the running back. And Tony's like, yeah, they're not snapping. There's no way. They're not snapping this from the gun. And the Browns are thinking the same thing. Hey, don't jump. They're not snapping this. Don't jump. And with 8 seconds left on the play clock, Chad Henne snaps the damn ball. I'm like, really? Caught the Browns totally off guard. Really caught them napping. And Tyreek Hill, right into the flats on a speed cut. Boop. First down, game, set, match. Andy, that's ballsy, brother. That's ballsy. That's ballsy. Woo! What a game. What a game. What a game. Looks like Sunday is going to make up for some of the pitfalls of Saturday. Because a lot of you were complaining about Saturday's action. I didn't have a problem with it. There was neither one of those games were edge of your seat nail biters like this one. But I didn't have a problem with yesterday's game. But this one here sets the tone for today. And I think we're going to have another doozy later on tonight. But let's talk about this game. We'll get to the Browns here in a second, but let's first start with the Chiefs in this football game and what they were able to do to get the win. And I thought early on, because I don't think this is a good Browns defense. I think it's a young Browns defense with some talented pieces, but I still think they've got some issues. One being, if Myles Garrett isn't getting to the quarterback, nobody's getting to the quarterback. That's your first problem. And with Olivier Vernon, and obviously he was the guy that was supposed to be the counter to Myles Garrett, and he gets injured in week 17, against Pittsburgh, tears his Achilles. And so now you're pretty much without the the pass rush option B to what is a dynamic A in Myles Garrett. And you saw it today. And there really was not a ton of pressure on either quarterback. And with Mahomes, he did a really good job of creating off schedule, which we know he is one of the best in the league at doing. And he used his legs a couple of times, including a touchdown run. It backfired on them a little bit later on in the game when Mahomes actually gets hit and has the concussion. And that was scary. We'll talk about that here in a second. But I thought they had them off balance. I thought Darrell Williams, or Williams, I always get his name wrong, the running back, I thought they did a good job of kind of mixing up what they were doing in the run game in the past. And, I mean, they came out, and the first 2 or 3 plays were all runs. So they kind of caught Cleveland off guard, kind of kept them on their toes, and they were able to move the football without any resistance early in the game. They moved it right down the field, scored a touchdown, which prompted me to tweet out, just in case the Cleveland Browns weren't sure, this ain't Pittsburgh that you're playing, okay? Just in case you weren't sure, you're not getting a freebie snap into the end zone for a touchdown, and you're not getting, 3 interceptions in the first quarter and a half, and that's not happening here. If you're gonna win this game, you have to score some points, and you're gonna have to stop this offense. Good luck, you're gonna need it. And it didn't look like they were gonna be able to do it early on in this game, but then Harrison Butker misses a field goal, and the Browns get a little bit of momentum late. And again, the Mahomes injury, I thought, really slowed the offense down just a tad bit. They were still moving it, but it really, he was missing throws. You saw anything to the left was a little bit of a struggle for him. All the passes to the right, he was just fine. But anything to his left, even the little short speed cuts out into the flats, they were skipping to his receivers. You could tell he was impacted by the toe. But he was gonna gut it out, and he was gonna lead this team to a victory. But then you get the injury, and look, you're going to have some people, oh my God, like I saw on Twitter, and I got the Green Goblin with me. I saw on Twitter people complaining about the hit. Man, it's football. To me, that's the bitchification of NFL football right there. Every hit now, we're trying to look and see, we're trying to slow it down to the slowest of, granular details. Oh, that was helmet. No, it's football. He wants to stretch the football out, try to get in the end zone. I'm hitting him with every goddamn thing. Elbow, head, knees, shoulders, toes. I'm hitting him with everything I got because I want him fumbling that ball just like Daniel Sorensen hit him with. I don't want to hear that shit. Oh, it was a bad hit, and so we're going to refund your money on anybody that had plus 13, or plus 7 going into halftime. Bullshit. I wasn't giving back a dime, and I don't want to hear anybody complaining about any goddamn thing. It's football. That's why they give them helmets and pads. You're going to get hit. And when you decide you want to stretch the football out by the goal line, all bets are off. And he got tattooed, and he got up, okay? It's football. They know what they sign up for. Don't want to hear that shit. Don't want to hear anybody complaining about, oh, that was a dirty hit. Oh, my God. Football. Okay? It's football. I love the no call, and I thought it was an exceptional play by Daniel Sorensen. And, you want your guy trying to score there in Rashard Higgins, but got to be secure with the rock. And he wasn't. Big play. Obviously, you see how the game turned out. Massive play to take, really, it's a 10-point swing. You go from getting 7 to then giving it back to the Chiefs, and they go down and get a 3 spot before halftime. So it's a 10-point swing in a game that ultimately was decided by 5 points. So you do the math there, okay? Massive play. And at that moment, I thought, okay, they lost the game. You go from 16-3 to the fumble. It's going to be 16-10. And more likely than not, Mahomes, because even if he scores the touchdown, no touchdown. Mahomes is still getting the ball back, 1st and 10 from his own 25. In this instance, with the touchback, his own 20. Either way, they're going and getting points. They're going down and getting a field goal. So it was either going to be 19-3 or it was going to be 19-10. But the fumble coupled with the field goal made it 19-3. And so you go into the halftime break, and I was thinking to myself, man, they got a shot, the Browns do, to double dip here, score this touchdown, come get a stop. And I was thinking they weren't going to score that quick like they did. They scored with about $1:20 left. I was thinking they were going to score with something like 23 seconds. We saw yesterday that's an eternity for an elite NFL quarterback, but still with timeouts in his back pocket. But I thought they were going to score, with about 23 seconds left and then get the ball back again to start the second half. And I'm like, it's a small chance, but there's a realistic chance here that they could score before half, score again after half, before the Chiefs really see the football in a legitimate situation for them to drive it. And they could be up 17-16. It's not out of the realm of possibility, but that fumble killed any hopes of that taking place. They go down, get the field goal. It's 19-3. They get the interception to start the second half. Tyrann Mathieu baited the hell out of Baker Mayfield on that play, which he does to every quarterback in the league. So he shouldn't feel bad. He's baited the best of them in the business, and he picked it off. And I'm thinking, and somebody tweeted me, said, at that moment, I thought the game was over. I said, dude, you weren't alone. So did I, and probably most of the people out there watching. Thought the game was over. No reason for you to think that Mahomes and company wasn't going to take that great field position inside the Browns' 25-yard line and not score a touchdown with it. The Browns had shown little resistance against this Chiefs offense. So there's no doubt that you were thinking they were going to score. It's going to be 26-3 and this game's over. But just like we saw last night with Jerry Hughes making a play that I thought changed that game. And I said, if you're going to talk about the pick six by Taron Johnson, and it was a massive play, make sure you first talk about the play on the snap before by Jerry Hughes to stop Lamar Jackson from getting the football to a wide open Hollywood Brown for the touchdown, because without that, there is no pick six, and it's a different ball game. Same thing here. Myles Garrett gets pressure on Patrick Mahomes as he's trying to throw the football. Travis Kelce is wide open. It's definitely a first down. I'm not sure that it's not a touchdown. Either way, because he gets hit while he's throwing the football, it skips to Kelce. They got to settle for the field goal. They missed the field goal. The Browns then go on an 18-play, 8-minute marathon drive, cut the lead in half essentially, and they should have went for two. But I didn't have a problem with Stefanski not going for two because he thought there were going to be many more possessions in the game at that time. But again, it's dicey because you're like, yeah, on one hand, you're like, hey, if they don't score another point in this game, and we didn't know Mahomes was going to get injured, but if they don't score another point in this game, I kick this extra point. Let's say we score another touchdown. It's 19-17. We get a stop, and we get the football back. We kick a walk-off field goal, win this thing 20-19. That's what he was thinking in his head. Like, I don't need to chase points right now. There are going to be enough possessions in this game that this one opportunity to go for two shouldn't come back to bite me in the ass. And I didn't have a problem with it. I know, the analytics people, and you heard Jim Nantz and Tony Romo talk about going for two, because the easiest route to tie the game up would have been two touchdowns, two-point conversions, 16 points, get you to 19 all. But you had to know the Chiefs were going to keep scoring. So in my mind, don't chase points. Just let the score be what it is. And when you get to the point where all right, got to chase points now, that's when you do. We were early stages of the third at the time of that touchdown. You didn't need to chase points at that time. So I didn't have a problem with them not doing that. And you get to the situation with Mahomes going down. They get a field goal. It's 22-10, and you're thinking they're done. And it's amazing that even with that 12-point cushion, and the whole time I'm thinking that missed field goal might loom large. Because the worst thing, the worst case scenario you want as a Chiefs fan once the injury to Mahomes happened is you say, hey, they got to score, go for two just to tie it. We can't lose this thing in regulation. And when they went on that marathon drive, including 2 fourth-down conversions, you're thinking to yourself, wow. And so let me back up a minute because we got to talk about this Mahomes injury. I thought it was one of the most foolish things I've seen an NFL head coach do in quite some time. You're essentially rolling the dice and mortgaging the rest of your playoff future for a third down conversion in the third quarter of a ball game with a guy that has already shown you he's compromised with a toe injury, and you're going to run a speed option with him? And I get it. He could have tossed that football, but if you're going to put him in a position where the best decision on that play is for him to keep it, he's a football player. He's going to keep it. You can't put him in that situation, okay? If you're going to run that play, you want to run that shit with Tyreek Hill. Put him in Wildcat, take Mahomes, put his ass out at receiver, and you let Tyreek Hill run that shit. You don't put Patrick Mahomes And if that's the play that you have to run, and you feel like this is the one that's going to get us a first down, if that's the play you got to run, put Kelsey. How many times have you done that with Kelsey? You've put Kelsey in the Wildcat many times in his career. Put Kelsey back there. Worst case scenario, he'll bull forward. If a guy tries to tackle him, he'll take that guy for a ride and get the first down. But under no circumstances is that 15 running a damn speed option with a compromised toe in the third quarter of an AFC divisional round playoff game. Are you serious? Have you lost your damn mind? Should have lost you the damn game. Crazy. And Mahomes goes down. He gets hit. I honestly didn't see where his head hit the ground forcefully. It wasn't helmet-to-helmet contact. I honestly didn't see where he got the cobwebs. I really didn't see where he got the stars knocked out of him. But it happened. And man, was he in trouble. He looked like a punch-drunk boxer. Like he just caught an overhand right from Triple G. And he had to gather himself. And, you know, that's one of them instances where you say, hey, O-lineman, don't pick me up. Don't pick me up. I'm good. Let me lie here for a little bit. Let me gather myself. If we got to go to commercial break, let's do that. But don't pick me up now because you got me looking crazy over here. Because Patrick was stumbling, bumbling all over the place, man. All right, Patrick looked like he had just been thrown out of the bar at 2:37 in the morning after having 12 beers. All right, Patrick did not look like he was stable enough to get up and walk off to the sidelines. So that was scary. You know, anytime you got a dude leaning on three people like, hey, man, what's this? Is this week 14? It's a problem. So, needless to say, everybody knew that was watching the game. This he's not coming back. You're not coming back after that. And so now it's time to blame it on the Henny. And I said, we're going to blame it on the Henny, but we're going to blame it on Andy Reid ass first. And wouldn't you know it, they end up getting a field goal and making it 22-10. The Browns go on that marathon drive, as I mentioned already, 8 minutes, 18 plays. They go down the field to get the touchdown. And at that point, I'm thinking, you just need a field goal. Make it 25-17. You just need a field goal, Henny. I don't need you to be special here. I don't need you to be Chad Henne. All right? I don't need us to say, blame it on the Henny. All right? Blame it on the vodka. Blame it on the goose. All right? I just need you to be smart here. And he did everything right. He converted, and he hit Travis Kelce on a big third down over the middle of the field. I'm like, look at Chad ass Henne, man. Look at that. This, you know what, right now, this ain't the regular Henne, man. This that white Henne right here, man. This that white Henne, man. This is that limited edition stuff. Yeah. I take a couple sips of that. And then he says, wait a minute. Wait a minute. You think this is limited edition, Henny? Oh, no. This is the regular brown-ass Henny, man. Throws the stupidest interception you could conceive in that moment. I don't know what he thought he saw. I don't know what he thought he was doing. I'm like, dude, are you serious right now? You're really going to throw it up for grabs like that? 5 yards over the closest receiver's head. Right to the safety who's backpedaling like he's catching a punt. That ain't nothing but straight up regular ass Henny. And you're damn right we're blaming it on the Henny again. So after that, I'm thinking, these bastards are really about to lose. They are going to lose this game. Are you serious? And the defense I told you this was the difference between this year's Chiefs team and last year's Chiefs team. This year's Chiefs team capable of winning a game if they need to. Last year's Chiefs team, they had to outscore every opponent, okay? And that's what I told you. That's why I said, I don't know if the offense is as dynamic as it was last year, okay? But I can tell you this much, and this might mean more than the offense being able to score 40 in a blink of an eye. Because guess what? The Raiders outscored them earlier this season. So what to me is more important is that your defense, when it is necessary, is capable of getting you a stop. And no bigger possession than that one when the Browns had the football. They convert the 4th and inches with another quarterback sneak, and you're thinking, here they go again. And the defense stepped up. They made plays. They got stops. They forced the Browns into a 3rd and 11. They're able to tackle Kareem Hunt 3 yards on that 3rd and 11 play. 4th and 8. You can't go for it in that situation. Still deep in your own territory. It's the right move. You punt. Because it's Chad Henne. The guy just threw an egregious interception. You're thinking, we'll be able to get off the field with a stop. This is why you don't waste your second half timeouts. I told you, you can do whatever you like. Yeah, with your first half timeouts. I don't give a shit. You can use all 3 of them in the first quarter for all you like. I don't care what you do with your first. But them second half timeouts, man, they're like precious jewels. You better hold on to those shits. If we about to take a delay a game on 3rd and 7, I'm not calling a timeout for that shit. 3rd and 12 it is. I am not, especially in what I perceive to be a close ball, I am not wasting a timeout to save 5 yards. Well, we must be backing up 5 yards then, because I'm not calling it. Second half timeouts are the equivalent of gold. All right? The value of those never depreciates, ever. As a matter of fact, sometimes in games, you may not actually need those timeouts. They may not come into play. But it's not going to go down. You're never going to say, well, I should have called that timeout earlier in the game. No. Hold on to your damn timeouts. And the Browns only had 1 timeout left. So now you're looking like, if they get a first down here, and Tony Romo said it, if they get a first down here, it's just going to get real interesting. And they got a first down. And then you say, okay, got to get a stop. You're going to probably get this thing back with about a minute 17, maybe a minute 16 left on the clock. And they got him 3rd and 14. They sack him on 2nd down. And you're like, oh, well, they got him. You know? That's a good job by Henne not throwing it away, because you got to keep the clock running. So I'd rather you take that sack than for you to do something stupid like throw an interception or throw it away. So he takes the sack, and you're thinking, well, they're going to get the ball back. Now, if I'm Andy Reid, I'm just going to gun run. I'm going to hand this thing off to Williams, and we're going to punt this thing with a minute and 19 seconds left. But in typical Andy Reid fashion, scared money don't make money, man. Andy said, we rolling these dice, but we going to kiss them and roll them, hope they come up nice with Chad Henne. Henne drops back. I'm like, oh, the stones on Andy. The stones on him. Chad drops back. He turns that corner on Adrian Claiborne. I'm like, is there some green grass in front of you, Chad? He's like, I believe there is. It's a white Henne time. Limited edition. I'm turning the corner and I'm going to get 13 and a half. I said, oh shit, look at Chad. He's on the move. And I thought he got it. Great spot by the officials. He was short. And I'm like, hey, Andy, man, scared money don't make money. I'm going for this. I am. I'm not punting this thing back to Baker Mayfield. However, I'm not running this from the gun, though. So I'm like, hey, Henne, he's about 6'6", 6'5", 6'6". He's somewhere in there. He's a big guy. Hey, we quarterback sneaking this thing. And I see Henne show up in the gun, and I'm like, you're not fooling me. You're not running this play, man. You're gonna take a timeout with 1 second left. Stop playing, man. And the empty set, no way. They're not snapping this thing. And then he motions the running back into the backfield. Come on, Williams. And I'm like, okay, he's about to get under center. And Williams comes back there with about 16 seconds. He's like, hey, we good. I'm like, you ain't snapping it, though. Get your ass under center and bark out some of these fake cadences and let's get this thing going. Call this timeout. And he snaps it with 8 seconds left. And I'm like, what? Andy? Again? And then I see Tyreek Hill wide ass open. I said, oh, they got it. As long as they don't bat this thing down at the line of scrimmage, they got it. And he hits Hill, and Hill catches it, gets the first down. What a gutsy call. What execution. And I'll just say this. We'll get to the Browns, and we'll get out of here because we're running out of time. I'm going to just say this. And if you haven't already done so, please make sure you subscribe to LouieTeeNetwork for more great content. Hit that notification bell after you subscribe, and then hit that like button while you're at it. I said, we're going to find out what kind of team this Chiefs team is, what kind of team they have. Your leader goes down. The best player in the league goes down. Your corner goes down. You're without one of your best running backs. You're trying to just get through this game. You got to lean on each other in this moment. Can you get it done with Henne and the defense and a semblance of a run game? And they did. That's impressive. That's really, really impressive. It's a total team effort right there. if I've ever seen one. For the Browns, I mean, honestly, what more can I say? I really don't know what else to say, man. It's a hell of an effort. You know, I thought Baker Mayfield, outside of the interception, I thought he played a hell of a football game. You got some drops from Nick Chubb early in the game, and that's a hell of a catch by Austin Hooper on a 4th down. Like, I thought, you know, David Njoku saved his best for last. I mean, this was his best game, arguably, of the season. I thought that this team was game. They were. And Nick Chubb on that touchdown drive, the first one of the second half to cut it to 19-10, I thought he ran angry, like he was pissed off that he dropped those earlier passes. And Kareem Hunt gets in the end zone, and, you know, he wanted to do that so badly, you know, being back in Kansas City for the first time. This team battled, man. They gave it a run, but I tweeted this out in the second quarter as at the 2-minute warning, as Baker was playing well. I said, Bake is playing well. Problem is they just don't have enough. And that's just not on offense. I told you the lack of a deep threat. We could talk all the shit we want about. Shame on you if you step to the old dirty Beckham. We could talk all the shit we want about ODB. But he's the only guy that threatens you vertically. You're not afraid of Jarvis Landry or Donovan Peoples-Jones or Rashard Higgins. None of those guys scares you taking the top off. So you can come up, you can condense the field. If one of those guys like Donovan Peoples-Jones wants to get deep, go ahead, let him. Bake's going to have to throw a perfect ball like he did on that one catch down the right sideline. Because none of these dudes are separating from any of these defensive backs. So there's just not enough there on offense or defense. But they hung tough. They needed a Mahomes injury to hang tough, but they hung tough. They made it interesting, and I think they just needed one more stop. If they would have gotten one more stop and gotten the football back, I think Bake would have took them down the field and they would have won this game. And that's why if I'm Andy Reid, I don't punt that football. I go for it on that 4th down. Now, I would not have thrown it. That's for damn sure. But Andy Reid, whoo-wee, that was ballsy. All right. Hell of a season by the Browns, too. Got to say that before we get out of here. I know the next game is about to start. So, got a super chat. I'm going to run through these real quick. Lurts of Orthanic, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Lurts of Orthanic writes, Chad Henne next week. Mahomes brain looked broke as F. Nah, you'll get Mahomes next week. Even if he's still concussed, I'm pretty sure he's still going to play. I don't see any way that guy doesn't play, but you're right. He looked like a more than 2 week concussion, 1 week concussion. But again, you know, all concussions are not created equal. So I think he'll be back next week, honestly speaking. Silver V, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My man Silver V writes, my guy Dirty Dan with another timely turnover. Some players step in the playoffs. Others disappear like Le'Veon Bell in my Louie T voice. He stinks. He didn't get a lot of opportunities. He didn't get a lot of run, man. I mean, they felt like Williams gave them the best chance at the running back position. They went with him. And so he didn't get a lot of run. I was shocked to see Le'Veon Bell not get a lot of run. But they went with the guy that they thought gave them the best chance to make it happen. Kevin, the PRF, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, my man. Kevin writes, is it just me or is Vince McMahon on the phone right now seeing if he can get Tony Romo away from the NFL? Hashtag Stone Cold Henny. Hey, Tony was going nuts at the end of that game. Bonkers. You would have thought he was Jim Ross, right? Got another super chat here from Robert Dredden. Thank you for the super chat, Robert, who writes, Eagles fan here. Cleveland Browns played a hell of a game and had a hell of a season. You got to go through it to get it. Browns will be back. I believe that to be the case. You're absolutely 110% spot on. Generally, you don't get to show up to the party unannounced, uninvited, and just go straight to the Super Bowl. You usually got to take your lumps. The Chiefs had to take their lumps. Everyone usually has to take their lumps at least once. And this was, unfortunately, if you're the Browns, this was you taking your lumps. And it's painful, man. The Bills did it last year. Took their lumps in the first round against the Houston Texans. Up 16-0, blew the lead. You got to take your lumps. They took their lumps this year. I think they'll be back. It's a talented Browns football team, well coached. I think you are 110% spot on. They got to take their lumps, but they'll be back. They got nothing to be ashamed of. They gave it a run against a team that nobody gave them a chance against, and they were in this ball game. But a team with playoff experience that had been here, done it before, got it done under some really tough circumstances. And Andy wasn't afraid to pull out all the punches, and he wasn't afraid to roll the dice when it needed to be rolled. And if he was going to crap out, he was going to crap out. But Andy wasn't afraid. He wasn't afraid. The dice were hot, and Andy was rolling them things. And they came up nice for him, and they advanced into the AFC Championship game. So, hell of a start to Sunday's action. Looking forward to this next game of the two old farts, Brady and Breeze. This will probably be the last time we see these two lock horns, as it sounds like Breeze is on the way out. But we shall see. We'll be back at the end of that contest to break it all down, and we'll probably talk some more about this one as well as this nightcapper here. So I look forward to chopping it up with you guys at the conclusion of Bucks and Saints. But that's going to do it for me, your man Louie T. I thank you guys for joining me. Looking forward to chopping it up with you later on tonight. That was a hell of a football game. Hopefully we get another dandy to wrap up divisional round weekend. Saints, Bucks, coming at you right now. I'm going to glide to the side so you can watch that game in peace, and we'll come back here and reconvene after it's met its conclusion. I'm your man Louie T, signing off. See you guys at the conclusion of Bucks Saints. Enjoy the game. Bart Scott can't wait.
LouieTeeNetwork.